What's up, everybody? Hope y'all doing good. Welcome to a new episode of Wrestling with Rumors. Thank you to all of you who have been coming and visiting the channel and checking out Wrestling with Rumors. I appreciate all of you. So let's get into it. First thing I gotta say is, as I say for every episode of Wrestling with Rumors, all the rumors we are about to hear, all the rumors that I am about to read, are what they are. They are rumors, and until they are proven as fact or we see it happening on TV itself, they are what they are, rumors, and we can speculate as wildly as we want with these rumors. With that said, let's dive in. So, according to Deadline, Rusev's deal with WWE is for 2 years. Tama Tonga is injured, says bodyslam.net, and it could require surgery. LA Knight's attack on SmackDown last week, WrestleMania SmackDown, they claim may have been a television write-off. So the Tongans basically are on the injured list. Tonga Loa is expected to come back sometime in June, possibly, from a rumor that I read not too long ago on an episode of Wrestling with Rumors. But we really don't know we don't really have a timeline for Tama Tonga. These things happen. It's part of the job description when you're a professional wrestler. So all we can do is hope for a speedy recovery for Tama Tonga. Hope he's doing good. And we look forward to seeing when he gets back. Fightful Select notes that it's likely changes are coming to the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony for next year, whether that's cutting off some time or changing when it is held, so it doesn't run so long into the night. Now, I believe I said this on an episode of Wrestling with Rumors. I think I said this, or this just might have been something I was thinking out loud. But I feel that leave a comment and let me know if you agree with this. But I feel the WWE, the Hall of Fame ceremony should be Thursday. It should be Thursday. It should be its own thing. It should have its own night. And having it on Thursday, to me, it makes sense. Because then you can start the ceremony at an earlier time, and that gives plenty of time for the inductees and for those who are getting inducted into the Hall of Fame to have the time that they need to speak. And it can end you still have, with all that time, it still ends at a proper time. It doesn't feel like it's running late. It's depending on the time that you start it. You start at an early time. It could be something that you start in the early evening into the late evening, and it goes until early into the night, instead of having the Hall of Fame be something that's on after SmackDown. Because when you have SmackDown, and then depending on when you start the Hall of Fame after SmackDown, whether it's right after SmackDown or like 2 hours after SmackDown, it's gonna be a late night when you have it on at the same night as SmackDown. And you got superstars. You got superstars who are going to be, who have matches the next day at WrestleMania. Having it Thursday, at least for me, makes the most sense. You have it Thursday. You start it at a decent hour, and you start at a decent hour, so you don't have to change the length of time that the Hall of Fame ceremony runs. You have it have its own day, so that you can so it allows those who are speaking at the Hall of Fame to have the time that they need to speak. And then they go home, wake up the next day, and what is it? It's Friday, SmackDown. And then there's SmackDown, and that's it. And then you got the next day, and you got Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania. Now, there's really nothing you could really do about Stand and Deliver, because Stand and Deliver for WrestleMania weekend is just part of the tradition of WrestleMania in recent history. But as far as Hall of Fame goes, yeah, just having it start on a different day, like a Thursday, makes the most sense. I spent a little more time on this than I wanted to, but anyway. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. Moving on. Another WrestleMania match that fell apart due to injury, the Wyatt Six versus the Judgment Day, which couldn't happen because Bo Dallas got hurt. I would have been curious to see how that would have played out. Although if we had the Wyatt Six versus the Judgment Day, that probably means we wouldn't have the Intercontinental Championship match that we had, and that means Dominic Mysterio probably wouldn't have won the Intercontinental Championship. So sometimes things without reason without explanation happen for a reason. This is just one of those things. But as far as I know, Bo Dallas is cleared, and it's just, and we're way out, and we're a week out, about a week and a half out from WrestleMania. So now it's just waiting and see when the Wyatt Six, especially Alexa Bliss, make their return on television, and it'll be on SmackDown. So it's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. Per Bodyslam.net, Trick Williams and Lola Vice are two names who have been discussed to be called up from the NXT roster post WrestleMania. That is great. Lola Vice especially is a badass, and that I would love to see what she could do, like in on Raw and on SmackDown. We haven't really seen her on the main roster or make like one of those special appearances for a match or anything. So this would be a great new environment for her to be in. Trick Williams, we've seen him a couple times on SmackDown, especially with Carmelo Hayes. So, and it makes sense with where this version of Trick Williams is going on NXT. So it makes sense that it leads into something that eventually gets him off NXT and into the main roster. Probably on SmackDown with Carmelo Hayes, whether it's against each other or reuniting them in some form. And with Roxanne Perez, it's only a matter of time. We know she's going to be main roster bound. We know that she's going up against, from what has been said and from what I have read on Wrestling with Rumors, that when she comes onto the main roster, she's going after the Bayley rivalry is going to continue. Who I think attacked Bayley night one at WrestleMania backstage is Roxanne Perez. I'm speculating on that, but I'm sure we'll learn more as the weeks go on. Anyway, WrestleVotes Radio claims that Finn Balor is suspected to turn on Dominic Mysterio at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. Their feud will then continue through SummerSlam in August. This, I feel, is, although it's a rumor, this I feel is is accurate and true. Because if watching that Raw after Mania and how Finn Balor was with Dominic Mysterio and the way he was looking at the Intercontinental Championship, this absolutely, and it's been feeling like it's going to go that way for a while, even before WrestleMania, and how Finn Balor has been, especially towards Dominic Mysterio. So this feels accurate, and it feels like it's the thing that will kick off a summer feud for Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor, and it'll probably end if this does go all the way through SummerSlam and even a little after SummerSlam. I feel like by the time we get to SummerSlam, we'll have a good couple of months of Dominic Mysterio as Intercontinental Champion, is when he'll probably lose to Finn Balor at SummerSlam, where Finn Balor will win the Intercontinental Championship. WWE is expected to make a tremendous offer to AEW star Mariah May when she becomes a free agent this summer, per votes. Could you make a tremendous offer to Britt Baker? Um, that would be great. Mariah May, absolutely. Mariah May has really shown the kind of star she is in her time, with her time in AEW, with her rivalry against Tony Storm, and that was a great rivalry. It ended a little earlier than I thought it would. I really thought it was going to be something that would go all the way into All In, but it didn't. Um, but still, nonetheless, it was a great rivalry. Mariah May is a hell of a talent, a hell of a professional wrestler, and WWE absolutely sees something in Mariah May that is willing to throw down some big bucks to get her in under the WWE umbrella, under the tree that is WWE. So I guess we'll see what happens in the summer with that. And as that'll do it. So a few things that I wanted to bring up. First off, NXT Battleground will be on the same day as AEW Double or Nothing, May 25th. Me personally, I'm looking forward to how these cards are going to look for both shows, for NXT and for Double or Nothing. So that'll be interesting to watch over the coming, over the next month, to see how the build goes for both AEW and for NXT, and see how these cards are really built up. And then another thing I wanted to bring up, this was announced night 2, during night 2 of WrestleMania, during the countdown show, was that the announcement of the acquisition of AAA Wrestling by WWE. WWE now owns AAA Wrestling. Mixed feelings. A lot of people have every right to. I mean, everybody's gonna have a certain way they're gonna feel when another company buys another wrestling company, like WWE has. I mean, WWE. So I mean, the mixed feelings are understood and validated and respected. WWE also announced with the acquisition of AAA Wrestling that on Saturday, June 7th, Worlds collide with WWE, NXT, and AAA. Big event is going down Saturday, June 7th. That'll be at like 3 o'clock. I believe that'll be either. Yeah, no. I think it's 12 p.m. on the 12 p.m. here in the West Coast, and 3 p.m. In the East Coast, or the other way around. But it's the same night also as Money in the Bank that's going to go down. So Saturday is going to be Saturday, June 7th. Saturday, June 7th is going to be a big night. We got Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. I have no doubt in my mind that Worlds Collide is going to be televised on Peacock. Why? I mean, they have the time. I mean, the time is obviously for ticket holders, so they know what time the show starts and stuff. But when they have an East Coast and West Coast time for what time Worlds Collide, I know it's going to be televised on Peacock. They haven't announced it for Peacock yet, because it's not. It's like we're like 2 months. We're about 2 months, 2.5 months out from Worlds Collide and from Money in the Bank. But June 7th is going to be one hell of a fun day, from the afternoon all the way into the night, with both Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. We got 2 big shows, and I'm looking forward to both of them. Lastly, I want to say that it's so good to have both two of Triple H's guys in Rusev and Aleister Black. It is so good to have them back. We got Rusev on Raw, we got Aleister Black on SmackDown. I as far as some of Triple H's guys go, Keith Lee is another one that I really hope, after he gets himself back in the way that he needs to get, I really hope, and when Keith Lee's contract is up with AEW, I really hope he's able to come back to WWE and is able to have the run that he should have had, that he really didn't have under Vince McMahon. But I believe all of us know that he can have under a WWE that is run by Triple H. And I will say the same thing about Adam Cole. Adam Cole didn't have a run in the main roster in WWE. Only in NXT. Once his contract was up, he was gone, and then he went to AEW. But I would love it. Would be I feel whenever Adam Cole's contract is up with AEW, I would love it if I would love for him to come back and go for a run in WWE under a Triple H, because I feel like he'll have the kind of run that he had with NXT, but on a much bigger stage. I will say. And of course, I'm gonna say it until I'm blue in the face. I really hope I see Britt Baker on WWE television hopefully sometime this year. If not this year, maybe next year. But I think Britt Baker brings value to the women's locker room of WWE, the women's roster of WWE, and I would love for her to just be able to do what she does best on such a big stage that is WWE. And maybe now that Saraya or Paige, as a lot of us know her in WWE, maybe she might come back to WWE. Maybe. Anyway, that'll do it for this week's episode of Wrestling with Rumors. I appreciate all of you. I will be back next week for a new episode of Wrestling with Rumors. But until then, y'all take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next one. Peace, y'all.